Today we're going to talk about where tartar really comes from and why it keeps coming back in the same location in your mouth, and exactly what you need to do to prevent tartar. You know, at first when you look at tartar, it might seem like something cosmetic, some buildup on the inside of your teeth that just is like an annoyance. But there's something much bigger health-wise about tartar that you need to know about. What happens with tartar is you can visibly see it above the gum line, but some of it grows down into the gum and actually creates inflammation, irritation, and bleeding, allowing for certain bacteria to invade through these tiny little holes in your gums, into your tissue, and into your bloodstream. This is why people with tartar, when they brush their teeth, sometimes experience bleeding, because there's irritation and inflammation deep in the gum area. There are actually certain studies that show even after brushing your teeth, bacteria can increase by 23% after you brush your teeth and irritate some of the gums. And there's even research showing that professional deep cleaning can increase bacteria in your blood up to 75%. That's bacteria coming from your gums going right into your bloodstream. And what's really wild is they've done DNA testing on heart attack patients and stroke patients and found dental bacteria in the arterial plaque. How did it get there? They've also tested the synovial fluid in joints of people who had rheumatoid arthritis and found dental bacteria. How the heck did it get in there? Even in conditions like gingivitis, they're finding now there's some links between the enzymes in that condition that can potentially trigger autoimmune diseases, specifically rheumatoid arthritis. But I do remember a lot of those cases having problems with their teeth and gums. So tartar is not just this cosmetic problem. It could be a much deeper systemic problem. So what is the difference between tartar and plaque? Plaque is basically soft living bacterial biofilms. It's not yet calcified. It's living on the inside of your mouth, and the chemistry or the pH of plaque is more acidic. And also in that acidic state, you can also increase your risk of getting cavities. So in tartar, you're really having fossilized biofilms, right? It's in this chemical cement. Once the tartar forms, it's impossible to take your toothbrush and try to brush it off. It's just not coming off. And this is why when you go to the dentist, they have to use a metal tool to scrape it off. What's interesting in tartar, though, you have more of an alkaline environment. In an alkaline environment, you will get less cavities, but you might have more tartar. So fixing your pH doesn't really solve the tartar. So a lot of people ask me, what supplements do I recommend? Now, of course, I'm not biased of my own high-quality supplement line, but if you go to Amazon and type Dr. Berg supplements, you'll find more information. Why does tartar form in the same spot in your mouth? Well, there's a little gland, a salivary gland, in these exact spots. And they're sitting below the jawline, and they're draining through a little tube. And that tube opens right behind the lower front teeth. And the saliva that's coming out from those glands is way more saturated with calcium than even in your blood. So the real problem is not that you're consuming too much calcium and it's ending up in the teeth. That saliva is already primed to dump a good amount of calcium in your mouth. And some people never get tartar, and other people get tartar. Why is that? What they found with people that don't get tartar is they have a lot more inhibitory chemicals that stop the formation of tartar. And the problem with tartar is once you get it, tartar itself tends to destroy those inhibitory factors. So people that get tartar get more tartar. The other really important thing is when you go to the dentist and get your teeth cleaned and they scrape off the tartar, it's really important for them to also then polish your teeth, because that roughened surface that occurs after cleaning can now provide the perfect surface for this bacteria to stick to and start growing again. Now, here's the missing piece of information that you need to know to really understand how to prevent tartar. It only takes 8 hours for crystals to start forming on the inside surfaces of the lower teeth. And then 2 days later, you could literally have up to 50% of those mineralize or crystallize with calcium. And then at 12 days, 90% of those biofilms have turned into calcium. Once the fossilized cement has formed, only going to the dentist and getting a cleaning is going to work. So what I'm going to show you is after you went to the dentist and you had the scaling and the polishing, make sure they do that, how to prevent it so it doesn't keep coming back. Step number one, you must brush your teeth twice a day, not just once a day. So right before you go to bed, make sure you take a toothbrush and spend more time on the inside surfaces of the lower teeth, probably 30 seconds. Try to get as close to the gum as possible. Number two, when you sleep, breathe through your nose, because if you're sleeping at night and your mouth is open, you're going to have more production of saliva that's going to create more of the problem with the plaquing and the tartar. Number three, find a toothpaste that has baking soda. Why? Baking soda is anti-biofilm, it's antibacterial, and it also penetrates into small little areas that other things can't get into. So it's a really good way to prevent the formation of biofilm. A couple other things that are anti-biofilm, xylitol, and also zinc citrate. What I personally use and recommend is Tom's of Maine toothpaste, which has these items in it. One little point about people that do the ketogenic diet, some of them might notice they get a little bit more tartar, and that is because they're changing the pH from acidic to more alkaline. Now, the good thing is, because they're on keto, they're going to get less cavities, they're going to have less inflammation in the gums, but they might develop more tartar with some people. And that probably has to do with the bacteria in the mouth has changed. Now we're getting more fermentation of proteins, which is creating a different chemistry. I wouldn't change your diet because of that. I would just do what I'm telling you right here. People might think, oh yeah, keto is bad, but actually it's preventing one problem. It might be increasing your risk for tartar, but not if you do these things I'm talking about right here. I have a free download that I want to give to you. This free download is my daily routine in a checklist. This is a routine that I use every day to feel like I'm 18 years old, even though I'm 60 years old, and I want to give it to you for free. And so there's a little link down below. Click it and definitely download that. So number one, brush twice a day. Number two, sleep with your mouth closed, breathe through your nose. Number three, use a toothpaste that has baking soda. And number four, when you go to the dentist and have a cleaning, make sure they also polish the teeth. Now that you know the truth about tartar, I want you to learn about what can happen with these internal systemic infections that can end up creating a problem stemming from your mouth. And for that information, watch this video right here. Check it out.